Recently, an article from Hong Kong English newspaper Nanhua Morning Post are published saying that the younger generation of China has the culture of touching fish. What is touching fish? Well, we can simply say it's just to be lazy. Isn't Chinese young people known for their wolf culture? Why it turns out to be lazy now? According to Nanhua Morning Post, young Chinese workers now do not see their efforts as proportional to their income. So they resist it by being lazy, refusing to work overtime and degrading the quality of work, playing mobile phones, reading novels, or even hiding in the toilet. In short, they are wasting time. This situation was mentioned in the news and was even more serious under the COVID-19 in 2020. As the government struggles to cope with the effects of the economy, young people can only quietly rebelling against a culture of long hours and little reward. It also reflects young people's frustration with their salaries, as their earnings are far from enough to fulfill their dreams, such as buying a house and other life plans. Take a look on Twitter. Some young people said, "I waste my time every day, but I am happy with that. Why is it that my boss only gives me a penny but expects me to work the same value provided by a dime?" Another user said, "Instead of trying our best to do our work, we free up time and energy to do our side projects. Isn't that better than spending all our energy on work?" A white-collar worker in Shanghai who uses the pseudonym Beer Massage has become popular on Twitter for promoting the concept of fishing culture. This blogger, who has more than 500,000 followers on the internet, advises people not to work too hard because working too hard will not only hurt your colleagues but also yourself, since the boss realized that you can handle 3 people's job. In the end, not only does the salary stay the same, but the boss also demands that you and your colleagues continue to work so hard. Fine, sounds reasonable. Bear Massage even said that even the boss scolded him for wasting time, he will only smile and never get angry. He won't take the initiative to resign because he will be compensated if his boss fires him. According to China's labor law, if company dismisses an employee without any substantial reason, it should pay compensation to the employee, which is usually accounted by the employee's monthly salary multiplied by his or her seniority in the company plus 1 month's salary. But won't firing affect the next job? Reputation could be important to find next job. They interviewed Feng Lijun, the chief HR expert at one of China's leading job search websites. She mentioned it was common for people in their 20s to be lazy at work because their incomes were low or their wages had not increased. According to the survey, the average salary offered by Chinese enterprises will increase by about 2% in 2020. However, half companies did not raise wages, and they expect that the situation will continue over the next 3 years. So it looks reasonable that many employees are looking for ways to diversify their income streams, such as making a small profit by running an online shop or forwarding links to products online. Achievement is the main motivation for modern young people, closely followed by the fun of working with money and the freshness of work. People born in the 1970s have the traditional spirit of hard work and courage to fight, while the concept of people in the 1990s is very different. They put personal benefit in the first position. With the economic support by their parents, they would easily resign the job if they don't like it. However, Chinese young men have their opinion. Things attracting their attention more is the death of an employee in Pinduoduo company. Pinduoduo is a famous online e-commerce company in China. In the eyes of ordinary people, it is a well-known company. High-pressure work gets high salary. At the end of last year, a female employee was frozen to death in the winter night of minus 20 degrees on the way home at 3 p.m. in the middle of the night. This has triggered a backlash among young Chinese against the pace of work at 996, which means working 6 days per week from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. The media dug up her workload during his lifetime, finding her work included lots of different territory, to recruiting, to marketing, and to managing more than 2,000 places for checking their customers to receive their goods. Moreover, she had to contact various companies they cooperated to mediate the conflicts and achieve the best consensus with companies' great credit. She would normally work overtime due to her huge workload. The news triggered the young people's hate toward the working system called 996. 996 system is also the common expectation China's tech giants toward their employees and has turned out to be a symbol of a series of employers demanding longer hours without new ones. Besides, there is also a social phenomenon in China called Sanhe Great Guard. A group of young people known as Sanhe Dashen have long been hanging out in Longhua New District, about 20 kilometers from downtown Shenzhen. They advocate the spirit of carpe diem, and as soon as they earn a few hundreds from part-time job, they will spend it online, cafes, and sex. Here, the cost of living is almost compressed to the limit: $2 for buying noodle soup, $34 for playing internet cafe whole night, and $130 for satisfying sex need. The NHK documentary filmed the lives of young people with bottomless pockets who live like slaves. Some people don't even do temporary work, relying on selling blood, mobile phones, and identity cards in exchange for meager income. In the end, some people can only survive by seeking food in the garbage can. Of course, this is an extreme part of Chinese society, but we can tell that in summary. This reflects the Chinese dream, the growing gap between the rich and the poor after the Chinese became rich, and the neglected disadvantaged youth among them. Is the young man too weak? I don't think. We should face up to the problems of low salary and overworking from the youth. For the pro-young people who are still going upstream in the era, the relevant departments should understand the problems inside. Is the housing price too high? Is it the pro-parenting environment? Or is the society provide uneven education opportunities? Seeing them and leading a helping hand for every generation living with dignity.